Let's have Watford. Hello, Mike.
Morning. It's Mike here. I'm part of a group called the National Leasehold Campaign, and we've been fighting for against the injustice for leaseholders for many years, including the disgrace that is the cladding. Now, leaseholders are being held responsible for something that they had nothing to do with, and people get the notion that they've bought a property in a flat. They haven't. What they've done is it's a long-term rental, and they're being held responsible for something they've had no input in at all. Buildings are being put up that are unsafe. It's not just the cladding. There have been various safety features that were supposed to be in the buildings that aren't there, that will end up costing as much as the replacement of the cladding. And this is a scandal that goes from the developers to the institutions that were supposed to check that the buildings were put up correctly, to the lenders. Everyone has got together to maximise profits at the expense of innocent leaseholders, and there is no way leaseholders should be facing the problems they are. Some leaseholders are going bankrupt. Their homes have no value at all. You can't get a mortgage against it, and there's going to be the repossessions, and even some people who lose their homes will also lose their jobs, because if they're in a job where you're not allowed to be a bankrupt, they lose their careers as well. It's an absolute outrage. And why leaseholders being held responsible for something that is nothing to do with them is beyond me, and it is so unjust.
Leasehold law is quite poor when you start to look into it. Under leasehold law, owners of fire risk flats are liable for the costs of putting them right. That surely is not justified.
Yeah, but you're talking about, when you say owners, can I stress again, a lease is not ownership, it's a long-term renter. So it's rather like if you rented a car for a couple of days and there was a problem with the car, you're held liable for the repairs for it. It is so unjust. People have to understand, leasehold you don't own. It's an old feudal system. Someone can put 5% of the value of the entire building, invest 5% of the entire building, and the leaseholder invests 95%, and they're beholden to those freeholders. And it's a disgrace between the developers, who knew what they were doing, and there were plenty of examples of unsafe cladding catching fire years before Grenfell. And we also now know from the evidence given in Parliament, where some of the makers of the cladding forged or faked the test results. So they're getting off so minimally. Even one of the biggest developers, I won't name them, yes, they've offered some money towards rectification, which is less than the bonus they paid their chief executive. It is outrageous. And where else would you have a situation where government are giving handouts to developers who are absolutely coining it in and paying out massive bonuses to their CEOs, whilst their customers, their lives are at risk? I mean, imagine.
Yeah, it seems an extraordinary situation to congratulate themselves for a job well done, while this scandal is swirling about them. Mike, I'm going to have to leave it there, but thanks for that.